it says. So Elizabeth is 24 weeks along. Mary is now newly pregnant. Now in verses 36 to 37, the angel says to Mary something to encourage her in the impossible pregnancy that she is anticipating having. It's impossible. You can't be pregnant if you're a virgin. And so the angel says to her in verse 36, "Behold, your relative Elizabeth, in her old age, has also conceived a son. And this is the 6th month with her who was called barren." So she was barren, and she's old. She's not having a period anymore. Can't have a baby. So she's miraculous. You can be miraculous. Nothing will be impossible with God, it says. He gives, He takes, He provides in abundance, and He sustains in loss. So now the angel's gone, and Mary makes a beeline to Elizabeth. What a meeting. The 2 most important pregnancies in the world. And both of them miraculous. What these women will talk about. My. Verse 39. In those days, Mary arose and went with haste into the hill country to a town of Judah, and she entered the house of Zechariah and greeted Elizabeth. And when Elizabeth heard the greeting of Mary, the baby leaped in her womb. And Elizabeth was filled with the Holy Spirit, and she exclaimed with a loud cry, "Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb. And why is this granted to me, that the mother of my Lord should come to me? For behold, when the sound of your greeting came to my ears, the baby in my womb leaped for joy." Now, of course, this is not a text about abortion, right? We all know that. This is not written about abortion. However, it is written with certain assumptions and certain implications. And the assumptions of biblical writers and the implications of biblical writers are worth taking pretty seriously. And I think there are huge assumptions that we need to embrace, and there are huge implications that we need to embrace. Let's look at 2 of these things. Number 1, the word baby. You might think that's insignificant at first. It's not insignificant. Verse 41 and 44. When Elizabeth heard the greeting of Mary, the baby leaped in her womb. Verse 44. For behold, when the sound of your greeting came to my ears, the baby in my womb leaped for joy. Now that word baby is an ordinary word for baby. It has no connotations whatsoever of embryo or zygote or whatever those other words are, fetus. It just means baby. And the way you can know that is by looking at chapter 2, verse 16. And they went with haste and found Mary and Joseph and the baby, exactly the same word, exactly the same form of the word, brephos, lying in a manger, not in a womb. So, the Christian church has seen in this that what the persons, Jesus and John, were outside the womb, they were already inside the womb. They were a baby. Jesus was the God-man in Mary's womb. When the Holy Spirit came upon Mary and caused her to conceive, what was that? the Holy Spirit is causing her to conceive this is God, zygote, or God-man. This is God moving in there and taking residence, incarnate in the womb of Mary. It's a baby inside, just like it was a baby outside. Jesus in the manger is called a baby. John in the womb is called a baby. That's the assumption behind biblical thinking. Not separate things. Like when it's out, it's baby. When it's in, it's embryo. That's not the way the Bible thinks. And now, science, as it so often does, has made this easier to believe, not harder. Not only do you have ultrasounds, but you have internal ultrasounds. There are photographs that are so spectacular, it absolutely blows your mind away. At 8 weeks, this little baby is sucking his thumb, recoiling from pricking, responding to sound. All the organs are present. The brain is functioning. The heart is pumping. The liver is making blood. The kidneys are cleaning the fluids. There is a fingerprint. And virtually all abortions are done after that. Reason, I got out a little book called Yes Neon, Survival Kit, produced by United Way, that tells horrible things for young people to do. And one of them is, if you need an abortion, don't get it before 6 weeks. It's harder that way. Baby's not discernible enough. So abortionists want later abortions. They don't want to go beyond 13 weeks if they can help it. But between 6 and 13 would be the ideal time to kill the baby, because you can see it so clearly and small enough that you can manage it better. So science has enabled us to see that 99% of the little ones who are being chopped in pieces are, if our little daughters saw them, they would think, it looks like a little, what is that? Little baby. That's the first thing, the word baby. Here's the second thing. How did this baby respond to the presence of Jesus and Mary in the womb? Verse 41, when Elizabeth heard the greeting of Mary, the baby leaped in her womb. And in verse 44, Elizabeth interprets that leap. So first there's a leap. Anybody can feel a leap. But now she interprets the leap like this. Behold, when the sound of your greeting came to my ears, the baby in my womb leaped for joy. How'd she know that? She knew it because she was filled with the Holy Spirit. Do you see that? That's Luke's point here. At the end of verse 41, Elizabeth was filled with the Holy Spirit, and she exclaimed. So the point is, the Holy Spirit is awakening and moving Elizabeth to speak about this leap the way she does. This is not her emotional opinion. There's more. If you go back to chapter 1, verses 14 and 15, the angel says to the father of this baby, John the Baptist, his name is Zechariah, he says this, you will have joy and gladness, and many will rejoice at his birth, for he will be great before the Lord. He's talking about John the Baptist, this little baby in Elizabeth's womb. He will be great before the Lord. He must not drink wine or strong drink, and he will be filled with the Holy Spirit even from his mother's womb. So she's not far off when she says that he has the fruit of the Holy Spirit. Joy. This baby leaped for joy. This baby is fulfilling the prophecy given to Zechariah that he will